Hello everyone, this is Mr. Lipchick, and this segment of instruction will be on challenges to civil liberty and sources of American law, focusing on sources of American law. Okay, what are the sources of American law? Law can be defined as a set of rules and standards by which a society governs itself. It is used to resolve conflicts, protect rights, and limit government. It promotes the general welfare, and it sets social goals. It controls crime. Laws guarantee our liberties. No individual is above them. Decisions are made by them instead of arbitrary decrees by government. And they can only be changed through the democratic process or Supreme Court review. So what is the legal heritage of the United States? Constitutional law is a branch of law dealing with formation, construction, and interpretation of constitutions. It decides the limits to government power and the rights of the individual. And this is a separate branch of law. Supreme Court decisions are the main source of information and meaning in the interpretation of the Constitution. There is statutory law. Statutory law is defined as laws written by the legislative branch of government, such as Congress, a state legislature, or a local legislative body. If you look to the right, those are some law books. The individual laws that are on the books are immense. Most lawyers today have them computerized. Statutory laws limits behaviors and are a source of rights and benefits for people. Sometimes called Roman law because it is codified, that is, it is written down. There's administrative law. Administrative law spells out the authority and procedures to be followed in the implementation of laws by government agencies. The importance of administrative law has grown as the number of federal agencies has increased. Cases often deal with issues of fairness and due process regarding the regulation of behavior or provision of benefits. And there is common law. This is law made by judges in the process of resolving individual cases. It has its origins in England, and judges will use precedent established in earlier cases in their rulings. It's often referred to as case law. Where there is no precedent, judges will base their decisions on common sense, custom, and existing laws. And there is equity. This is a system of rules by which disputes are resolved on the grounds of fairness. Today's U.S. court system merged the principles of common law and equity in the making of decisions. Principles of the U.S. legal system: equal justice under the law. The goal of the U.S. legal system is to treat all persons alike, regardless of age, wealth, ethnicity, race, etc. And due process of law. 1. Substantive due process prohibits the government from infringing upon fundamental liberties. An example, a law limiting dwellings to single families prevents extended families from living together. 2. Procedural due process prohibits arbitrary enforcement of the law. This requires that 1. A person is given notice that he or she has done something wrong, and 2. The person is given a right to respond to the accusation. So even before a person goes to trial, everyone will have an arraignment and a preliminary hearing. so the judge can listen and see if there is any actual evidence to hold you in jail. And in our legal heritage, we practice the adversary system of justice. Lawyers from opposite sides, defense and prosecution, compete to put on the best case before the jury. Usually lawyers are very civil to one another, but it can get very acrimonious and it can be a very tough fight. And the role of the judge is to be impartial and fair to both sides, especially when enforcing the rules and laws. So even if the defense knows that their client is guilty, it is their duty to fight for that client and do everything they can to get him or her free. The presumption of innocence. The burden of proof of guilt is on the prosecution. If the state cannot put on an adequate case to prove guilt, the accused must be declared not guilty. And the suspect cannot be held without evidence. That concludes our discussion on our legal heritage. Thank you for attending, and I look forward to seeing you in the live lesson. Have a great day.